Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I know we have some members of the general public here, visitors to Grand Canyon National Park. Thank you for joining us. This is an event sponsored primarily by the American Society of Civil Engineers, but with a tremendous amount of help and cooperation from the National Park Service in Grand Canyon National Park. My name is Jonathan Upchurch. I'm a corresponding member of the American Society of Civil Engineers History and Heritage Committee. The American Society of Civil Engineers is a 150,000 member organization of civil engineers, many of them in the United States, but also members in about 100 other countries around the world. The American Society of Civil Engineers, we are the folks who plan, design, build, operate, maintain, manage all kinds of infrastructure that everyone in the public relies on every single day. We believe we are a people-serving profession through the work that we do. We are here today to dedicate the Kaibab Trail Suspension Bridge as a National Historic Civil Engineering Landmark. If you are new to the park or unfamiliar with the park, it is possible to see the bridge from this vantage point if you're over here closer to the wall. Maybe you can't see it if you're back on that side of the path, but you will have an opportunity to take a look when we finish up here a little bit later. This bridge was built across the Colorado River at the bottom of the canyon in 1928. It was a tremendous challenge to design and construct this bridge because of its location. It is not easy to get to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. The bridge was designed so that all of the material, almost all the material used in the bridge, could be carried down the South Kaibab Trail on mules. There's, with the exception of some very long cables, everything else on the bridge is 10 or fewer feet long and weighs less than 200 pounds, so it could be carried down by mule. So there was a lot of innovation in terms of design and in terms of construction, and that's what makes this bridge quite remarkable. So we have a cast of special guests here. There are some programs available. We have some programs available back here. Raise your hand if you'd like a program. We'll try to get one in your hands. We have a group of very special people who are here today to make remarks at our dedication ceremony. I'll introduce the first two speakers because they're going to follow very quickly, one right after another. Robin Kemper is the elected president of the American Society of Civil Engineers. She lives in New Jersey. Thank you for coming here. Delighted to have you with us. Representing ASCE at the national and international level. And Lisa Carrico, the Deputy Superintendent of Grand Canyon National Park, here on behalf of the park, representing the park as part of this dedication ceremony. So, I would like to turn this over to ASCE President Robin Kemper.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yes, I just don't have another hand. Thank you so much for that warm welcome and this beautiful warm day, right? Certainly compared to yesterday. So it's wonderful to be here, and I'm truly honored. I'm going to give a bit of history about our program and also the bridge, and you'll understand why it's such an honor to be here today and why this is an extremely special event. So for more than 30 years, ASCE has recognized civil engineering achievements that have played a unique role in the development of the world as historic civil engineering landmarks. To date, more than 200 projects worldwide have earned this prominent designation. That may sound like a lot, but 200 around the world? Here comes 201, give or take. As Jonathan said, we have 150,000 members worldwide. We're in 177 countries, or 90% of the countries in the world. So we have a very large reach in being that people-serving profession. As Jennifer said, we touch every single person's life every single day around the world with all that civil engineers do. So this landmark program, this very elite group, includes famous Arizona landmarks like the Navajo Bridge, the Theodore Roosevelt Dam and Salt River Project, and the Hohokam Canal System. So today's dedication is joining that illustrious and elite group in the state of Arizona. In this ongoing program, ASCE History and Heritage Committee nominates historically significant civil engineering projects and programs for recognition. I had the honor of just being in England in October, and there the Institute of Civil Engineers, our counterparts in England for the American Society of Civil Engineers, were celebrating their 200th anniversary, so we recognized them as a historic landmark, their program. But the committee carefully reviews each nomination package, and when a project is determined to be deemed acceptable, they recommend it to the ASCE Board of Direction that that project be named by the Society as a historical civil engineering landmark. And those who have actively been involved with that process, and I believe there are a few of you here today, can tell you it is not an easy task. You can go through this process and be turned down. ASCE is proud to recognize the Kaibab Trail Suspension Bridge as a historic civil engineering landmark. Completed in 1928 and located with one of the seven natural wonders of the world, the bridge was instrumental in developing the backcountry recreation and providing a connection between the north and south rims of the Grand Canyon. And for the past 91 years, it has served mule riding tourists, pack trains handling supplies to Phantom Ranch, hikers, backpackers, pardon me, I just don't have enough hands, including our Park Service and commissary employees. It remains in service today, unmodified from its original 1928 construction. As civil engineers, we take great pride in designing and constructing structures and sites that become legacies of our communities. The Kaibab Trail Suspension Bridge is a prime example of engineering innovation. The bridge is 440-foot single-span suspension bridge crossing the Colorado River. Designed to carry mules and foot traffic, it provides a pathway 5 feet wide. And for those who heard Jonathan's presentation just about an hour ago, the reason it was only 5 feet wide was to make sure those mules could not turn around and cause havoc. 4 550-foot long suspension cables and 2 wind cables support and stabilize the structure. But due to the remote location and incredibly difficult access through rugged terrain, constructing the bridge had a set of challenges unlike any of those other historic civil engineering landmarks. Humans and mules transported the 122 tons, that's 122 times 2,000 pounds, in materials and supplies down the 7 miles of trail because you could not access the bottom via any vehicular traffic, any vehicles. Walking single file, 42 men, mostly Havasupai tribesmen, carried the 1 ton, that's 2,000 pounds each, 550-foot long suspension cables. Imagine that, 42 people carrying 2,000 pounds down 7 miles. Amazing. Engineering the bridge under such unfavorable conditions reflects on the resourcefulness and innovation of civil engineers responsible for the project. To this day, the Kaibab Trail Suspension Bridge continues to be one of the few Colorado River crossings in the region. Except for a bridge, I'm not sure if it's north or south, that's about a half mile.
West.
West, excuse me. West, a half mile away. The next nearest crossing is 340 miles away. Shows you how important this crossing is. So we'd like to thank the Arizona Section of ASCE for nominating this structure as a civil engineering landmark and for hosting this wonderful event. Civil engineers are not always in the spotlight. We tend to be a little shy. Maybe not me, I don't know. But the Kaibab Trail Suspension Bridge is an exception. With about 100,000 crossings each year, this landmark stands as a testament to the wisdom of civil engineers and the meticulous principles of engineering for many generations to recognize. Let me also thank the Grand Canyon National Park and the National Park Service and the Historic Society. They have worked together with ASCE to recognize the importance of this bridge and to interpret the bridge's history for park visitors. So now, please join me in celebrating the dedication of the Kaibab Trail Suspension Bridge as an historic civil engineering landmark. I present this plaque on behalf of ASCE to the Grand Canyon National Park, which serves as steward of this remarkable civil engineering achievement. Deputy Superintendent Lisa Carrico, please accept this plaque with our appreciation and gratitude. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. You have to come. It doesn't reach there. Okay. We're going to do our dance.
Oh,
Be careful. It is slick.
Good afternoon. It is so wonderful to be here in the sunlight and this gorgeous setting. I can't imagine a better place. Maybe if the temperature was a little bit higher, but other than that. I am Lisa Carrico. I'm the Deputy Superintendent for Operations here at Grand Canyon National Park, and it is my honor and a privilege to say on behalf of the Superintendent and staff at Grand Canyon, welcome. I want to thank all of you who had a hand in making today possible. I'd like to start, if you don't mind, with members of my staff. Thank you all so much for the work you do each and every day and for the work you did today to make sure that this went well.
Thank you.
I don't know for certain how many people, but I would say hundreds of people were involved in the efforts to formally recognize the Kaibab Suspension Bridge. And I want to recognize those efforts and to thank you. They will assure that all who come to Grand Canyon have an opportunity to learn more about the importance of a bridge as significant as this in terms of American engineering history. Last year we had almost 6.4 million visitors come to the national park. Think how many of those people will come here, will see this plaque, and will be able to take a peek over the edge and see that little black toothpick lying across the river down there. So know that the efforts that you made to make sure that we memorialize this bridge will serve many for years and years to come. As has already been mentioned, but I think it's important because we in the National Park Service take very seriously service to our visitors. The 1928 completion of the Kaibab Bridge changed the tourism scene in the Inner Canyon by connecting the trails between the north and south rim and making safe passage across the Colorado possible for both mules and people. For 40 years, until the Silver Bridge was constructed just a little ways downriver in the late 1960s, the Kaibab Bridge was the only access for hundreds of miles. To this day, it remains critical in terms of allowing people, supplies, and materials for those who traverse the Bright Angel and North and South Kaibab trails. I want to close by saying on behalf of the National Park Service and Grand Canyon, we gratefully accept this plaque commemorating the Kaibab Suspension Bridge as a civil engineering landmark. And we look forward to the placement of the plaque down in the canyon by the bridge in the very near future. Thank you very much.
This is an ice rink right here. Yeah, right? Wait, we need you up here.
Thank you, Deputy Superintendent Lisa Carrico. There probably is a little more photo op going on at the moment, but next I'd like to introduce the President of the Arizona Section, President of the Arizona Section of the American Society of Civil Engineers, for some brief remarks, Ted Smithwick.
Thank you, Jonathan. Much appreciated. And again, I'm the president of the Arizona Section of ASCE. We're incredibly grateful for this prestigious landmark designation. And as discussed today, the design and construction of this bridge was done by civil engineers under Park and National Park Services civil engineers at both, the park and national level. We would not be here today if it was not for the commitment of these civil engineers. Thank you again to Jonathan Upchurch for your ongoing dedication to this event. I admire you for your service and devotion to your community. Thank you to Robin Kemper for traveling here for this event. We tried to give you warm weather, it didn't quite work out. But lastly, a call to action for everyone here today. While we're celebrating the hard work and dedication of engineers who worked on this project, I'd like to remind everyone of a daily and long-term goal we all have, and that's to inspire and encourage the youth of today to build a better world for the youth of tomorrow. It's amazing how listening to others and just a few words of encouragement can inspire a lifetime of learning and accomplishment. Thank you again from the ASCE Arizona Section.
Thank you, Ted. And I would now like to introduce Dave Mortensen. He is president of the Grand Canyon Historical Society. For those of you who may be here from visiting the park, the general public, the Grand Canyon Historical Society has had for the past 3 days a Grand Canyon History Symposium sponsored by the Historical Society. Dave.
I'm going to represent the users of that bridge. These are the builders, the designers. But before I do that, I want to share a story. That bridge has caused my only granddaughter, who lives in Tokyo, 2011, we did a river trip. She got on that bridge and was asking all these questions about it. And I visited her over Christmas. She's a senior in high school, and I said, "What are you going to do?" And she's going to college, and I'm going to become a civil engineer.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't plan that. That is serendipity, but that bridge caused it. And she was so mesmerized by that bridge. We had a river trip, and that's one thing Robin didn't mention. River runners use that bridge a lot. First of all, it's a spiritual thing, because when you come down the river, there's only one other thing you see that's man-made, and that's the Desert Watchtower. You get to that bridge, and there's some nice lemonade right up that canyon. But a lot of river trips do exchanges there, so people hike in and hike out, and that bridge is the vehicle by which you can do that. And it's just wonderful. I experienced that when I was 13, before the dam. This was a wild river, and the only thing, when we hit that spot, it was like there is people in the world still left. But it's an honor for our organization to be really pleased to help with this project, because it's not easy to get something designated, as Robin has said. And I know the people in Arizona have worked really hard, and I appreciate that, but I live in Utah. But the point is, this bridge represents so much history and so much future history, because so many people are going to be using this bridge in many ways. And we have mules that will use it too. So I'm really honored to be part of this celebration, and thank you.
So thank you, Dave, and I want to thank you individually because of your agreement that we would do this as a joint event, that we would do the dedication ceremony in concert with the 5th Grand Canyon History Symposium. Thank you very much. I want to ask again, just briefly, as I did earlier this afternoon, are there any members of the Havasupai tribe who are with us this afternoon? Okay, thank you. As I mentioned earlier this afternoon in a different presentation, the Havasupai tribe did play a role in the construction of this bridge. I mentioned that almost everything on this bridge was carried down on the backs of mules. The exception was the 4 very heavy suspension cables, each 550 feet long. As Robin said, each one weighing more than a ton. They were carried down by 42 men, mostly members of the Havasupai tribe. It was like a giant caterpillar. They spread themselves out along 550 feet of cable, evenly spaced, and they wound their way down the South Kaibab Trail to deliver that part of the bridge down to the bottom of the canyon. The Havasupai tribe, the Native Americans, they are very connected with this region. This is their original home. They did play a role in building the Kaibab Trail Suspension Bridge. Is there anyone else here who would like to add any particular remarks to our ceremony this afternoon? Please, and please introduce yourself.
I'm Fred Nelson. I'm a region governor from Arizona, assigned to Alaska. We have Larry Magura here from Oregon, who is assigned to Arizona. We love Larry. He's a native Arizonan now. And Brent Borchers. Where's Brent? Brent's another Arizona governor. He's assigned to Hawaii. He's got some seniority, so he gets the prime one. So I just wanted to say, if you look at the map here, all 7 of these monuments have something to do with the Colorado River system. 5 of them are on the Colorado River and 2 are on the Salt River. Isn't that something? So I was the historian when we did the Hohokam Canal system, and that was a marvelous thing. We did that in the early 90s, 700 miles of canals built by the Hohokams. And then the other 2 monuments that we tried to get were the Grand Canyon Railroad, which some of you have ridden on, and then the Asfork Bainbridge Steel Dam. So those are 2 state monuments. They weren't successful in becoming national ones, so we made them state ones. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. So, one more. Please come up and please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Mark Lamer. I'm a past president of the Arizona Section. I was part of a group of 4 that originally filled out the paperwork to start this process 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember exactly how long. The one thing I just wanted to say is this would not have happened without Jonathan Upchurch. So I want to get a really big round of applause for Jonathan, and thanks for doing this.
Anyone else? Thank you all for joining us. You're welcome to do photo ops, photos of the plaque, all of our dignitaries who are here today. Again, thank you. Enjoy the day.